He slashes towards Zed, saying he hates people like him when our boy just does a Matrix-style dodge backwards. Man, Clark insists sending a cross slash, but our boy dodges one. Dodges another and starts getting closer. Clark, however, had managed to slash toward the side of his head and was sure the kid wouldn't dodge this one. But his sword seemed to collide with some kind of electric barrier. The kid kind of had a natural shield and now he was right next to him, landing a solid hit in the ribs. And damn, that frame is beautiful. Take that in the chest, fool. While he's riding in the electricity, man, the Korean moon is going wild. A purple explosion hits and the guy's back. Yeah, he's something. The problem is, man, the guy was already the king of dodging and now he's all electrified. Dodges another strike, comes from the side, and lands another one on the chin. Clark can't understand why this kid is fighting like this. He was supposed to be a mage. Obviously, mags use barriers and stay at a distance to cast spells. And that's why when a knight gets close, they are always defeated. That was kind of the law of this world and a law that had never been broken. And that's why this kid in front of him made no sense. More lightning flying around and Clark trying to hold the attacks back. It was the first time he had seen a mage of this style, so he had no strategy. He decided to change plans and back off to use those long-range sword slash attacks. But Zed is way faster. In a second, he's face-to-face again, landing another punch right to the face. Clark couldn't see any openings and takes another one in the gut. Man, now he got launched all the way to the other side, crashing into a tree. The poor guy spitting out like 3 layers of blood while the soldier beside him asks if he's okay. One thing's clear, he's a man of honor, man, because even with the others trying to help, he says nobody should get involved. Then he turns to the boy and says that really he lost to Iran. At the very least, he should be killed now. But Zed asks if the guy wants to know why he lost. Clark says, no, just kill him already and stop being annoying. But Zed doesn't care. He says he's going to tell him anyway. He says the only reason he lost is because Zed's been training way more and putting in the effort. Obviously, that hits Clark's weak spot, and he says it's ironic. Someone with a bloodline like is talking about effort and training. The strength he has is simply because he was born with arrowhead blood. He really has no idea what true effort looks like. Effort from someone with no talent at all. But Zed responds that he's sure Clark should have been stronger than him at that age. If he'd have fought better and trained to become even stronger, he shouldn't have lost now. But he's blinded by this inferiority complex. Besides, a knight should never blame another person for their own defeat. Clark stays silent and says, yeah, that's ironic. While thinking he never imagined that a kid like this would remind him of the true code of a knight. Then he tells Iran to just end it already and kill him. The problem is Zed knows that if he kills this guy, someone known as the Five-Circle Knight, he's going to start being hunted. But he also couldn't let him walk around out there talking about him to everyone. At that moment, the Challenger talent and the Lightning talent deactivate. He suddenly raises his hand and everyone in the forest screams, asking what he's doing. Hera orders the guards to kill him now. Surrounded by everyone, Zed thinks this number of people isn't ideal. But suddenly, he looks back and a strange mist starts approaching. The whole place gets covered by this energy and he's trying to figure out whether it's a mage or someone approaching. The situation was worse than he thought and he needed to escape. Suddenly, the mist seems to settle a bit. But in the next second, when he opens his eyes, everyone in front of him is dead. Man, he didn't even get to kill Herna, and nobody even had time to scream. The strange part is that the bodies are full of scratch-like cuts, and even Clark was killed. Then Zed remembers Ryu looks back and calls for him. All awkward and bent over, he shows up from the bushes, saying he's fine. His friend asks if it was him who did that, and our boy says, no, there must be some high-ranking mage nearby. Whatever it is, it's best they leave as fast as possible. And Ryu sees a card among the bodies and tells him to check it out. It was way too clean and looked like it was deliberately thrown there. The two of them are leaving while someone watches them from up in a tree. Nothing suspicious about this hooded guy, right? If I had to guess, I'd say it's an Iran who was watching to see if he get executed in prison, but now sees the boy as the real deal and is thinking, better protect this kid. He's the future of the family. And you guys, what do you think? Place your bets. Who do you think this guy is? Hey, tell us. Sometime later in the forest, he made a little campfire. And is there looking at the sheet of paper which was blank until suddenly he puts a bit of mana into it and a symbol appears. It was a magic car that's actually used by secret organizations to kind of exchange encrypted messages. Man. And Zed recognizes the symbol as that of the Black Mirror, a group that swore absolute loyalty to the Iran and helps them with secret missions. When it comes to secret organizations, they are the biggest in the empire. And on the back of the letter, you could see the number 4. If is not mistaken, number 1 means accept or basically affirm. Number 2 is reject. Number 3 is a proposal. And number 4 is observation and protection. Yeah, my guess didn't last long. That's no fun, right? I was right away. Looks like he really is being protected by someone from the Era Hens. He finds it strange since in theory he doesn't have any mana, but then he remembers. Yeah, man. Now he does. He has 3. Speaking of which, considering it went up by 2 after defeating Clark, you can tell it works like experience in a game. Plus, now he's unlocked the lightning form, something that not only boosts his physical abilities, but also creates a shield. Obviously, though, he only has mana to activate it when using that challenger talent. Then, Ryu calls out to our boy and says he can't sleep. He wants to know where they are going and what they are going to do. Our boy says that's obvious. They are going to the city of FIA. That's the last place they heard about his brother. All they have to do is keep moving. Ryu though says maybe his brother isn't even there anymore. Besides, you couldn't even get to Frullo without using a carriage. Zed says he already knows that and the route is going to be a little different. First, they'll pass through Tamiya. That village is the front line of the southern defense barrier. At that moment, a magic circle appears on the ground and a knight shows up through it. Woman, isn't that blonde knight the character our boy used to play as when he beat the Demon King? Along with him, an army starts appearing and he swears that he, Torres Bahal, is going to hunt the Iran who disgraced the name of that place. We then see him a bit earlier kneeling down asking if someone called for him. He was face-to-face with the Lord who says that a mission came specifically for the boy and Iran who was in a southern prison had escaped a few days ago. Not only did he kill the guards but also other innocent people in the city, and he as the successor of Bahal must bring justice and honor to the family. The blonde guy immediately takes an oath that the orders will be obeyed. Meanwhile, in the middle of the forest, Awai is saying this is madness. Zet just tells him to stop whining, saying it's been 5 days with the same talk. What the friend is complaining about is that they are the only idiots going straight into the front lines like this. On the Empire's map, you can see there are only a few exits and outside the mountains, it's full of demonic beasts. Each of the major families is designated to guard one of these regions. And the south belongs to the Bajal family. The place they are going to is called Tamiya, a village right on the front lines, and one of the places where demonic beasts are to appear. On top of that, since it's an advanced base, there's a teleportation portal there. Obviously, it's something so expensive that not even nobles can use it easily. But our boy got a ton of money from betting and looting everything from Herna. Still, Ryu keeps complaining, saying he has no idea how terrifying a demonic beast is. Time passes and Mag falls once more. He was chatting a bit when Zed suddenly felt a strange vibration. The whole ground was shaking. In a low voice, he stood up and told Ryu to get ready. Something was coming. Right away, they put out the campfire and hid behind the bushes to watch the camp. Ryu was praying that it wasn't a demonic beast, while Zed was hoping that it was a demonic beast. The problem was that it wasn't just 1 or 2 vibrations. There were at least a dozen. And he knows it's very rare for that many demonic beasts to break past the barrier. Which means, man, it was exactly what he feared. Torres Bahal and the army were arriving. The guys were at least just passing by, and he was just praying that those 50-plus soldiers wouldn't spot them. But that's when one of the soldiers obviously detects the camp. Zed knows that if they are found, they have no chance. The minimum requirement to be in that group is to be a 5-circle knight. In other words, there were at least 50 clerks there. Ryu says our boy should run. If he gets captured, there's a chance he'll survive. But Zed will definitely be killed. Our boy though tells him to stop shaking so much if he's going to say something like that. Besides, he didn't need to worry. He had an idea that maybe would work. The soldiers are all there checking around the camp. Then suddenly, someone from the bushes asks who they are looking for. Hey, you crazy fool. You're really going to rely on that protection card, huh? He steps out, saying his Zed Iran. He's doing this insane move because he knows that once the guys realize the camp is still warm, they'll start searching the entire area. They wouldn't be able to get away, and if they were found suddenly, it would be worse. But right when he goes to say he wants to talk to the leader man, a sword almost slices his neck. He tries to explain that he just wants to talk first, but there's already another one in his back man. He senses the presence and goes to activate a circle at his feet, but one of the guy's attacks seems to hit something between him and Zed. There was nothing, but it got blocked. Our boy understands that it was the power maybe of the person who's been protecting him, and a voice tells the knight to stand down. The guy backs off instantly, and the rest of the soldiers order the person to reveal themselves. Zed knew someone was watching him, but he didn't expect that whoever it was had been this close. The human was right in front of him. He couldn't even feel their presence, not even with 100 perception. Well, man, and not just one person, but an entire squad was protecting him. Now, it makes sense why the Arants are so feared, right? I was wondering why everyone kept praising the Arants like where are they? The problem now is that the protagonist is arriving wanting to know who dares stand in the way of Bahal. Everyone celebrates the arrival of the successor, and the Black Mirror guys instantly recognize him as the so-called Bajal. For Zed though, that presence was so familiar it felt like a part of him. The character he had played with the longest, the one who stayed with him until the end. It wasn't the time to be thinking about that, but he was feeling a bit nostalgic. Then Torres asks if he is Zed Aran. Before Zed can answer, the guy just steps in front and tells him not to speak. Now Zed is trying to understand why these guys are going this far. And Torres then says he can finally meet the secret organization he'd always heard about. But he finds it crazy that they are acting like this, even knowing who he is. The ARA family had now crossed the line. He throws his sword into the air, saying that today they would pay the price with their heads. Suddenly, a voice says that's not going to happen. A red circle appears beneath all the soldiers. Zen recognizes the formation as a type of trap that has to be set up in advance. Which means this guy was not only smart enough to predict everything that would happen, but also a seventh circle mage. Then the guy says that anyone who steps out of the circle will cause an explosion. Standing still, Torres wants to know if the ARA family wants a war with the Bahal. To which the hooded man says, as he already mentioned, it's better for them to back off since not even Lord Bahal wants a war like this. But that's when Taurus activates the blade's power again and tells them not to insult the Lord's name. Zed, however, knows that we're still kind of at the start of the game, meaning Taurus is still a sixth circle guy, and he has no chance of winning this. If he starts a fight right now, all the knights there will be annihilated. The madman, though, is already activating the lion's roar without a care. Even though it's a seven-circle technique, Zed is hoping the guy gives up. Otherwise, he's going to have to see everyone's bodies lying on the ground. Our boy asks the human to deactivate the magic circle before they all explode. But the hooded man turns and says they only follow the Lord's orders. And one of the commands he received was to protect Zed Aran, and he can't do anything that would go against that. Zed then asks why instead of protecting him, the guy is trying to kill the Bahal successor, which will only increase his chances of getting killed in the future. If he really was such a skilled assassin, he should be able to get out of there without killing this guy. Then he yells at Taus to stop, too, or he'll end up dying. But the guy just tells him to shut up, saying that he killed countless innocent citizens and prison guards. He'd have to pay the price for every crime he committed. Zed tries to explain that it's a misunderstanding and that they can talk. But man, Taurus is already charging in, saying they'll talk when he's on his knees. Zed notices the circle didn't explode, which at least means the guy didn't get killed right away. But then, an explosion sweeps through the area, and Ryu calls out to Zed. Torres's sword had been blocked by a barrier created by the secret organization guys. And even with just the block and the sword shockwave, Torres dropped to his knees and coughed up blood. Zed Danheim even walks over and asks if the guy now that he's on his knees is ready for a little conversation. But Taurus just faints and collapses nearly dead to the ground. The soldiers run over saying he's dead, but our boy explains it's just a mana backlash from overusing his energy. It's best to let him recover naturally and not even try anything. The healers are already trying to heal him. UI though knows this is mana backlash and you can't heal someone's backlash if you're weaker than them. Obviously, the only ones stronger than him there are the Black Mirror guys. And our protagonist tells the guy to go ahead and heal Torres, which obviously freaks him out. He asks if Zed is seriously telling him to heal this knight. Zed says that Torres is an old friend of his. I mean, it's not a lie, but it's kind of a suspicious statement. Obviously, the guy refuses to heal him, saying it's impossible that the two of them are friends. Zed then says that Mags are usually smart. He wants to know if the guy really thinks that the death of an Aran wouldn't lead to a large-scale war, and if that would be productive. But man, the guy just replies that the death of those successors would actually be good for the Arahens. Strangely though, Zed seems sure that's not true. Oh yeah, he knows right that in the future demons are going to start invading and they'll need everyone to win. The problem is his running out of patience, and out of nowhere he snaps man. He puts the sword to his own neck, saying that if the guy doesn't heal Torres, he'll die too. Which means right, the masked man would fail his mission since the mission is to protect him. The masked guy says even so, he can't act that way or the Lord would be furious. Zed says he doesn't care. He'll carry that burden himself. Suddenly, the masked man approaches Torres. His friends obviously hesitate, but Zed explains that the only person who can save Torres is someone stronger than him. If they don't accept the help, the guy will die right there. With that, Torres is finally healed, and the soldier even gets a bit teary-eyed. At that exact moment, the Black Mirror guys vanish as always, leaving behind a letter. Sometime later, near the village of Idamaha, our boy is standing in front of a tent looking at card number 9. That one meant abandonment or survival. I think it means like we're gone. We'll ask if that mist in the forest that killed everyone was also the Black Mirror, and our boy says yes. But now they are alone. Zed then notices something strange and asks Ryu how he knows about this organization. Ryu replies that everyone knows. It's common knowledge. Even little kids in any town know about them. Zed can't believe it. A secret organization known by everyone. But Ryu warns that since everyone's watching them, they better be careful or they'll be killed at any moment. Zed, however, says there's no need to worry. They are knights who truly follow the knightly code. In other words, people who value honor. Mags, on the other hand, would kill a friend if it meant earning a few coins. The truth is, both sides are too extreme and kind of rational. But that actually makes things easier for him. With a knight, all you need is to challenge her sense of honor. And with a mage, all you need is an offer that brings profit. Then one of the knights shows up and says the Lord Hare wants to speak with him. Inside a tent sometime later, Torres talks with our boy. He starts by talking about tea, but our boy doesn't seem very interested. Then Torres gets straight to the point and asks about their situation. Zeb replies that he's not very formal and wants to talk casually. They are both young, so they can keep it chill. Torres asks how old he is, and our boy says, "In this body, I'm 15. Why does he always say the most suspicious things in the world? He just straight up tells everyone he's reincarnated. Damn it. While the two are chatting, look, RS over there taking notes that they're getting all buddy-buddy. Then Torres replies that even if he doesn't want to, he first has to thank him because thanks to Zed, his life was saved. Our boy notices that just like in the game. And since he is a knight, the guy keeps his word of honor. His pride is too high. He never hurt someone who saved him. And if there's someone who knows Torres well, it's him. After all, he played 10 years of Torres. But that the guy says enough small talk. Let's get to the point. He wants to know what's this about the murder of the city people and prison guards being his setup. Zed says that's fine and starts to explain everything that happened. Sometime later, Torres says that if what Zed said is true, then trying to defend himself really is justifiable. The whole point of this, though, is figuring out whether it's true or not. But Zed replies that if it were a lie, he would have just let Torres die and that would have been an easier way out for him. Strangely, Torres says that honestly that argument is solid, bro. I accept it. That's it. The guy gave up on arguing. Then he puts a sack on the table and says, "That's a gift, man. It's some kind of powdered mina." Zed, however, replies that if he's trying to apologize, he's going about it the wrong way. What he really wants is help finding Ryu's younger brother who's missing.